Assalamu alaikum my beloved students. This is your history class for class 7th week 6th May 11th to May 15th 2020. Before we start our chapter number 5, I'll give you a little recap of chapter number 2 which we studied the last week, which was about the famous Muslim personalities and their contributions in the fields of mathematics, science, geography, medicine and astronomy. So in the week 6th, we are about to start our chapter number 5, the coming of the Mughals with respect or in regards to the subcontinent area. The textbook that I'm gonna referring myself to, and officially we have entitled to have this textbook, which is written by Ismat Riaz, published by Oxford, and the title is Understanding History. So the topics to be covered in the week 6th are from your textbooks, page number 30, 31 and 32nd. So the topics are coming of the Mughals, the whole introduction, the first battle of Panipat 1526, the defeat of Rajput chief Rana Sangha, and Tuzke Baburi, the memoirs of Babur. So in this particular Tuzke Baburi, I'm gonna elaborate this a little bit for you to make it more understandable for you. It's about the memories of the Babur, how kind of a person he was, his attributes, his traits, and other things about his personality. So let's proceed into the lecture. The objectives of today's class or this particular presentation are: students will be able to know about the famous Muslim Mughal personalities, comprehend the famous historical events, maps which I have included in this slides. You'll able to know in the proceedings, inshallah. Know the legacy of the Mughal rulers. In this particular chapter, we're going to study about Babur and Humayun. That's it. So let's proceed. The methodology: presentation slides in line with textbook content, audio visuals aid, resources have been provided included YouTube links to documentaries, maps of empire added in slides, home assignment, exercise questions pertaining to the topic. Solved assignment keys are also provided along in the file, the package they're going to find out in the portal, inshallah. So let's get into the whole lecture. So the coming of the Mughals, the introduction, textbook page number 30. Babur, the king of Kabul, had dreamed of conquering Hindustan. So basically it really tells us about the thinking and the thought process the Babur really had, being the king of the Kabul, that he had a dream of conquering Hindustan. Babur inherited the state of Ferghana from his father Umar Sheikh Mirza in 1494, only at the age of 12, but because he was just at that particular tender age of 12 years, he lost it to his ambitious relatives. They wanted the whole throne, so they got it. He turned and conquered Kabul in 1504, but couldn't get his homeland Ferghana or Bukhara or Samarkand back. Since quest of Kabul, Babur had dreamed of getting Hindustan. Like he had a dream, he dreamt of getting Hindustan, but he could not get his own homeland Ferghana or Bukhara and Samarkand, as we know. So the Babur advanced up to the river Chenab and sent an ambassador to the Lodi Sultan and demanded the territory, claiming it to be a part of Turkey. This is how he started the escalation towards this subcontinent side. Receiving no reply, Babur captured Bhira, Khusha and territory near Chenab and returned back to Kabul. So in 1524 he reached Lahore in Punjab in subcontinent, and capturing it left it to Alauddin Lodi to rule as his governor. So he appointed Alauddin Lodi as the governor of this particular place, Punjab, in Lahore. So Daulat Khan Lodi, he was also from the Lodi dynasty. He retook the Lahore and sent Alauddin Lodi back to Kabul as a refugee. So now Babur decided, after all this event, Babur decided to teach Daulat Khan Lodi a lesson and set out in 1526 to become the emperor of Hindustan, the unanimous one. So the Babur took advantage of the condition of the subcontinent at that time, as Delhi sultans had lost their hold on most of northern India except for Delhi Agra. and the Doab, the land between Ganga and Jamna rivers. So basically it was very much appealing or kind of invitation to the Babur so that he can come out in the subcontinent region and claim his own unanimous kingship here. So this is again coming from the same topic. The Punjab had become an independent place under Daulat Khan Lodi, while Sindh, Multan, Jaunpur, Bengal and Orissa had become independent kingdoms as well. Threatened by Ibrahim Lodi, who was also a cousin of Daulat Khan Lodi. The both are coming from the Lodi dynasty, and he was the ruler. Ibrahim Lodi was the ruler of Delhi and Agra, while Daulat Khan was ruling in the Punjab side. Daulat Khan sent envoys to Babur inviting his help against Ibrahim Lodi. Rana Sanga of Mewar was a powerful Rajput ruler who favored the invasion by Babur because he thought by himself, like he had in his mind a thought that after the war between these Lodi dynasty and Babur, I'll be the one who will claim the kingship. But being a descendant of Timur, would defeat the Lodis, plunder and return to Kabul. Rana Sanga would then take the throne of Delhi and Agra for himself. However, they were all proved wrong. So this is a very important point. By the way, I've highlighted the important points with red. You have to actually memorize all of these dates and the timelines as well. So Babur organized his army in late 1525, and in the spring of 1526, right after a year, he decided to descend from the heights of the Afghan mountains and conquer the plains of Hindustan, because it was just a neighborhood. So 2 years earlier, he had already conquered the Punjab and appointed a governor, as we've studied just before. Who was the governor? He was Alauddin Lodi. So he was then challenged by Daulat Khan and was sent to Babur as a refugee. So 2 years earlier, he had already conquered the Punjab and appointed a governor who was challenged by Daulat Khan Lodi. And Babur now had to reassert, he had to gain control again of the place. Ibrahim Lodi had already gathered a large force of men and elephant to face Babur's advancing forces. So he got himself prepared for upcoming war. And then the war really manifested in the name of the first battle of Panipat. And let's jump into that inshallah now. Before getting into Battle of Panipat, this is a high definition map of the Mughal Empire. You can see Amritsar, Jalandhar, Sirhind, Panipat, Delhi, Doab and Agra, and all of the important places here. And this is one of this work is for you to really get into this map and do a bit of research in how. And this is the whole, by the way, boundaries of the Mughal Empire. So it will really help you to really grasp the whole idea of how these people actually ruled the whole subcontinent region. So let's get into the first battle of Panipat. So the first battle of Panipat, 1526, your page of textbook 31st. Babur's 10,000 troops made up of Chagatai Turks and aided by cannons. So they had cannons as well. They were good in technology at that particular time, lined up on the plains of Panipat. It was 21st April 1526 and the battle started just as the sun was rising, in the early times as the sun was setting. Babur was a brilliant military leader. He arranged his men, cannons and cavalry in such a way that by the midday, maybe 6 hours or 8 hours at stretch, his troops had routed Ibrahim Lodi's army and laid claim to the throne of Hindustan. So Delhi and Agra, with their enormous treasures, were now in the hands of Babur's army, and the khutbah, the sermon, the authority was read in the name of Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, the son of Babur. The Mughal Empire had come to stay. At the bottom you can see there are two pictures that I have attached here. One, the scene from the Battle of Panipat, the mountains and the cannons. As you can see, right next to the mountain there are cannons, and this is Babur's army. So at the right one, it is the figure from your figure 5.3 from your textbook, an artist's impression of Battle of Panipat, 1526. The defeat of Rajput chief Rana Sanga, page number 32nd. Now Babur had to consolidate his newly established empire by facing one more enemy challenging his power, and the name was Rana Sanga of Mewar, a worthy Rajput foe. He was from the enemies, surrounded Babur's troops with his much larger force. So it was another battle coming next after the first battle of Panipat. Babur had to raise the spirit of his troops who were losing heart, and he did so with an inspiring speech to really increase the morale and build more support in the army. The Battle of Khanua on 16th March 1527 proved victorious for Babur, and Rana Sanga never challenged his rule again, so he got defeated. Finally, Mahmud Lodi, who was the brother of Ibrahim Lodi, he's also coming from the same dynasty, Lodi dynasty, gathered at Afghan and Bengali army and attacked Babur's forces, only to be decisively defeated at Chaunsa in 1529. So he also got defeated. So now Babur was the undisputed ruler of Hindustan, but he enjoyed this position for only a year because his life wasn't spanning much after that. The long campaign and the hot Indian climate affected Babur, who fell ill and died eventually in Lahore on 26 December 1530 at the age of 48. So he was not that aged, but he was not that young as well, though. He was buried in his beloved city Kabul. Now let's get into the memories of Babur, which is called the Tazke-Babri. The Taz come from the study of Babur's memories. So Babur's memoirs are a delightful tribute to the refreshing honesty and humor of the foundation of great Mughal dynasty. From here we know that he was honest and he was humorous as well. Despite being emperor of Hindustan, Babur pined for his Central Asian homeland and often spoke of the sweetness of its musk and melons. So he really enjoyed the musk and the melons of this side. Babur's character is reflected in his autobiography as being a kind-hearted monarch who cared for the welfare of his people. He was very generous, and when the conquest of Delhi brought huge wealth to him, it was divided amongst all ranks of his army. He shared all of the wealth with his army people in all of the ranks, and a good portion of it was sent to the holy cities of Mecca and Medina, which shows his commitment to Islam as well somehow. He was an optimistic and courageous leader and had physical strength of a lion. Babur spent his last year in organizing the administration of the provinces, as the land was really big. He did not deprive the original Hindu and Muslim landowners of their lands if they were truly loyal to him, if they were not retaliating or revolting against him. So Babur divided his territory into large number of jagirs or estates and distributed them among the begs or nobles who had come with him from Kabul as a gift, as an honor of their loyalty and their serving of him in the wars and the whole whatever we have studied, that there is a long campaign that Babur had to take off with. So let's do a little recap and overview of what we just studied here in this week 6th. Particularly in this week 6 session, we learned about the coming of the Mughals and legacy of Babur, his traits, events related to him, and the next would be the first battle of Panipat 1526 and details of it, and lastly the defeat of the Rajput Rana Sanga and how it happened. And after that we put some light on the memories of Babur, about his personality, about his traits, about his attributes, what kind of a guy he was. So this is very much how a Mughal empire started or got its roots. They got into this subcontinent era and start ruling for another centuries here at this place. So I hope that I tried to really make it very easier for you guys to understand and comprehend. I hope you enjoyed the whole lecture. Take care of you guys and stay home, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.